Welcome to Remade Academy. Today, I'll be guiding you through the product photography canvas, showing you everything you can do for your product. So, here's the canvas template. The link to this is in the description, but you can also access it on Remade's homepage. Step 1. Image assets. So you can see that I've used this Coca-Cola can as the example asset, and you can view each of these separate frames as templates that you can use for your own products. So I'll show you exactly how to do this now, and I'll be using this generic wellness product as an example. So first we need to choose the template we want to use. So I think for this product, something like the elegant pedestal would probably work the best. So to actually use this style, we can click on this image, regenerate. So GPT image is the one that's selected, which is what we want. And we actually have the exact prompt that led to this image. You can see that the prompt doesn't mention a specific product, it just says the product. So what we can do now is if we zoom out and go back here, click on this, reference, and add as reference. So now GPT image has both the prompt and the product as references. Now we can just change the aspect ratio to square, and we'll choose to generate 4 variations, and then click this to generate. So here are the results. You can actually see that it's taken this exact style and now just applied it onto this different product. So what we can do for organization is we can use a frame up here, click, and group these together like so, and we'll call it calm marble pedestal. And then these will be grouped together. If you want to use any of the other image styles, let's say steampunk, then the process is exactly the same. So you will select this, regenerate, choose your product, reference, add as reference, and then make sure that it's the only reference there. So we'll remove this one, which was the one we used before, and then just click this to generate, and make sure your settings down here are what you want. For any of our image assets, we can also edit them with text. So I'll show an example using this one. What we can do is click on this, edit, and then in text, we can just describe an edit. So let's just say I want to change this white marble to black. I can say something like, change the marble pedestal to black marble. And then click this to generate. So after about 30 seconds, here's the result. You can see that it's done exactly what we asked for, and it's maintained the rest of the image. Sometimes though with image edits, you might be able to tell that it makes the image slightly blurrier. So you can see the word supplement here compared to how it looks here. And to counteract that, what we can do is a image upscale. So if we click this, edit, upscale, we'll leave the upscale factor at 2 times, so that means that both the dimensions will be multiplied by 2. And if we open the advanced settings, there are 2 things we can change here, the creativity and the resemblance. A high creativity means that the AI upscaler will add more details, and a high resemblance means that it will add less. So because this is a product shot, we want to make sure the details stay the same. I would actually reduce this to about 0.2, and I would increase the resemblance to about 0.8, and then we can click this to generate. Here's the result of our upscale. You can see that compared to the original edit, the new upscaled version is much smoother. Now, if we want to use this image on different platforms, we can actually use AI to change its aspect ratio. So you can see currently it's a square, but if we click on it, edit, expand, you can change the aspect ratio to either a custom one or any of the options here. So if we wanted this to be a thumbnail, for example, we could choose 16:9 and click this to generate. If we want to use this for, let's say, shorts content instead, then we can also change it to a portrait 9:16 aspect ratio. So by clicking this and then this to generate. Here are the results of both of those. You can see that AI Expand doesn't actually change the original content of the images. It just expands the rest of the scene to fill the frame. For the last part on image edits, another thing we can do is use AI to remove backgrounds. So for example, if we have this one, what we can do is click, edit, remove BG. And then down here you'll see this message, and if we click this, it will start processing. So as you can see, we now have this background remove version of this one. We can now download this and then use it in our other projects. Step 2, video assets. So the first thing I'll show is how we can use any of our image assets as the start frame of our AI video. So I'll show an example using this one again. So if we zoom into here, if we click this, reference, and then use a start frame, let's change the model to Kling 1.6. So what will happen here is that the first frame of our AI video will be this image, and then the rest of the video is extrapolated by AI based on the text description you give it. So for example, for this one, we can say something like, a man picks up the bag and walks out of frame, and then click this to generate. So after about 3 minutes, the generation is done, and then we can double click and then press play to check it out. So you can see that it's done pretty much what we asked for. We can also use AI video with a start frame and an end frame. So in this case, the AI interpolates between those 2 frames based on the text description. So for example, we can use this one, the Coca-Cola, as our start frame. So reference start frame. And then we'll use this one as our end frame. So reference uses end frame, and the model will have to leave as Kling 1.6 because Kling 2.1 doesn't support both a start and an end frame. And then for the text description, we can just say something like, smooth cinematic product ad with the lines of light slowly swirling. And then we'll click this to generate. So here's the result for this one. If we zoom in and then double click and then play, you can see that it starts at that white background image and then it does a nice transition into this neon lights image. Now I'll show you how I generated this asset from the intro you saw earlier. For this asset, we used start frames again. So we use this one as our start frame, so reference user start frame. And then we changed the model to Kling 2.1. And I actually used the exact same prompt as the last one. So smooth cinematic product ad with the lines of light slowly swirling. And let's generate that. Now let's have a look at the result. So double click, I'll full screen this and I'll play it. So you can see it's done exactly what we asked for. And then we also have a nice transition from the text. To make this even better, we can actually use a video upscale. So if we click on this video, edit, upscale, now you can see that it's exceeded the 4K resolution, so we'll go down to a 1.5x upscale factor and would allow frame interpolation with a target FPS of 60. And then we can click this to generate. So here's our upscaled video and you'll see that it's much smoother. Finally, we can also use AI expand on videos. So if you click on any video, edit, and then expand. If you want the AI to naturally expand the scene, then you can leave this prompt blank. And let's choose an aspect ratio of 9:16, and then click this to generate. So here's the result of the video expand. You can see that it's just like the image expand. It preserves that initial scene and then just outpaints the rest of the frame. That's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave any questions in the comments and check the description for the important links, including the link to this template. Hopefully you can use this template to get great results for your products. For now, I'll see you in the next video.